So in this video, we're going to finish up the last two examples of topic 2.6, inverse functions. So in this one, it gives us two functions, and then it says we are going to find the indicated value of each function. And notice that it wants us to find the inverse and plug this in. So it looks like, and I'm going to do the work one time, I need to find the inverse function for both g, f, and g. So I'm going to start by switching the x's and y's in here. I'm going to pretend that it's really y equals 1/4 x minus 1, and this one is really y equals x squared. So I'm going to do that work off to the left side in the left-hand column here. So we're going to switch the x and the y on the f function. So x equals 1/4 y minus 1, and now I'm going to solve for y. So I'm going to move the 1 over by adding. And then to undo the 1/4, I need to multiply by 4. So we've got 4 times x plus 1 equals y. And then for purposes of what we're going to do, I am going to choose to distribute this in. So 4x plus 4. And technically, that's what f inverse of x equals. And sometimes we don't like looking at it like that. You don't have to do this step, but you can if you want to reverse it to the other side of the equal sign. So that's what f inverse looks like. Now I'm going to do g inverse. So I'm going to switch my x and my y, which would be x equals y squared. And then I'm going to undo the squared by taking the square root. And remember, when we take a square root, technically we have to write plus or minus out front. I know it's probably been a while since you've seen that. So we end up with plus or minus square root of x equals y. And then when we start in function notation, we end in function notation. And I'm going to flop it to the other side. So g inverse of x equals plus or minus square root of x. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my functions here. So it's really g inverse of f inverse of -2. So that means I'm going to take the -2 and I'm going to plug it into my f inverse. So I'm just going to kind of do it inside my function here. So we've got 4 times -2 plus 4. So we have 4 times -2 is -8. And then -8 plus 4 would be -4. Now I'm going to take that -4 and I'm going to substitute it into my g function. So something went wrong. I put in, oh, I see what happened. Because we will get an answer we can't have. So we're going to switch this to actually a +2. I apparently have a typo in my work here. So we're going to make that a +2, which make that a +8, which would make this a +12. We are now going to take that +12 and we're going to substitute it into here. So we're going to have g inverse, I'm sorry, not g inverse. We are going to have plus or minus the square root of 12. At this point, if you don't remember how to simplify it, that's okay. I mean, really quickly, I take the biggest square number that goes into 12, which is 4. And I know it goes in there 3 times. And then I take the square root of 4, which is 2 square root of 3. All right, let's look at the second function here, example 18, and it says I'm going to do f inverse composed with f inverse of 1. So that means I'm going to take 1 and I'm going to plug it into f inverse. I'm just going to follow the instructions, and I know it seems weird to be composing a function with itself, but it does happen. So I'm doing 4, but parentheses for the x, where I'm going to put the 1 in plus 4. So 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 plus 4 would be 8. Now I'm going to take that 8 and put it into the f inverse function. I'm just following the rules that are stated. So my f inverse function is 4 parentheses plus 4. I'm plugging the 8 into the parentheses. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 4 is 36. That's the end of the lesson. Make sure at this point, now that we're done with Unit 1, you are completing all of your summaries. Oh, apparently I had one more. Let's do one more. So this one says that we've got same function. So g of f inverse. So it wants us to compose G of F first. Making sure I'm looking at my answers. Sorry, lost my answers. Okay. So what this means is we're going to do G of F and then of the inverse of F of X. So I'm going to start by plugging my F inverse into the G function. So G is the outer function. So I'm going to write my outer function down, which is the G function, which was back up here, which was X squared. So I'm going to write parentheses squared. Then I'm supposed to substitute my inverse function into that. So my F inverse function was 4x plus 4. I'm going to put that on the inside. Remember, squared means write it twice. And then we're going to FOIL that. So 4x times 4x would be 16x squared. 4x times 4 is 16x. We have another one in the middle. And then 4 times 4 is 16. We got 16x, and then we combine in the middle, we get 32x plus 16. All right, now we're at the end of topic 2.6. And remember, you need to go through, now that we're at the end of Unit 1, make sure all your summaries are done. Make sure you have 2 questions or comments between each essential question and summary. And make sure you do that all for Unit 1. Go through the checklist for notes and make sure that your notes are complete.